Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Friday art-based meditation session from the Freer and Sackler, Smithsonian's National Museum of Asian Art. We're so happy that Aparna is here to lead the session today. We will have a 30-minute meditation and mindfulness session, followed by a spotlight talk by Stephen Ali, Associate Curator of Chinese painting and calligraphy at the museum, and a chance to have conversation around today's focus artwork and ask questions if you'd like to stay between 12:45 and 1 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll turn it over to Aparna to begin our session.
Thank you so much, Grace. I would like to start by joining Grace in welcoming all of you to this art-inspired meditation. Each Friday, we hope to take you on a journey through the artwork by mindfully gazing at the work of art and meditating with it. And today, we would like to travel with you virtually to China with this artwork that narrates the arduous journey of Emperor Xianzong. And let's start by taking a first look at this work of art. So today's art is called Journey to Shu. It's a really long scroll, about 6 feet long and almost 2 feet wide. And you can see that the artwork is flanked by colophons with beautiful calligraphy work. The scroll is painted on silk, and it's traditionally attributed to the artist Xu Yang, and the calligraphy is by Wen Zhengming. If you'd like to know more about this artwork, an option is to click on the link in the chat, which will take you to the page, the collections page, where the information about this artwork is. And also, we will be having a spotlight talk by Stephen after the meditation. And in preparation to look at this artwork more mindfully, I'd like to invite you to maybe close your eyes or look away from the screen by gazing down. But if for any reason you prefer to continue on your own meditative journey, you can click on the link and access this work of art and just have that on your screen. So we will temporarily pause the screen sharing. Maybe close our eyes and take a moment to center our attention. Let us come into this practice just as we are. Notice the presence of the body in space, where the body is seated right now. And that presence in the context of the space that we're meditating from. You could also visualize, if you wish to, like you're observing the body from the top of the room that you're meditating in. May all of this remind us that we're here now. In our journeys today, this is where we are, this moment. Maybe we could honor this intention of being here now by sharing 3 deep breaths together, inhaling through the nose, exhale through the mouth. A deep breath in. One more deep breath in together. Deep breath out. Let us check in with the sensations in the feet, shins and calves, knees, thighs, hips and feet, back, chest, waist, shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, neck, face, and the head. Now maybe we could bring awareness to all the sensations in the body at once. And allow the music, its pacing, maybe you can hear a rhythm in it. Allow all of this to invite yourself to a place of slowing down, to a place where we can observe from a sense of experience, a unique experience that happens as the senses bring in information. And if attention seems to bring up some tension, let's breathe through it. Notice that it would be ideal to stay still. If you wish to shift a little side to side, or make any movements as adjustments to come back to stillness, you're always welcome to do that. And slowly, let the shoulders relax. May the head and neck align with the spine. Let the body take up space. The entire body slip into a space of relaxed awareness. Now, in a moment, we will be opening our eyes so we could observe this artwork, this scroll, a little more closely. And we will be reading it in the way traditional Chinese was written. We will be looking at the scroll from the right towards the left, from top to bottom. Maybe start the rightmost part of the scroll, part where there's calligraphy. Maybe some of us can read this and understand. But irrespective of that, we could all observe, perhaps enjoy the beauty of these fonts, brushstrokes, marks. Maybe if we zoomed in a little more towards the right and the bottom right side, you would notice marks or seals. What could those be? Let the mind wander. As we move further towards the left, we're still navigating the calligraphy. We might see two more marks on the left bottom corner. And as we move our attention further to the left, we're now at the right half of the painted part of the scroll. What is the feature that immediately draws your attention to? Maybe it's the landscape. Maybe it's the colors of the mountains. Maybe it's the swirling clouds passing through the mountains. And now as we zoom into the rightmost part of this painting, we're possibly beginning to notice the human figures. People riding on horses through the narrow paths. And if you seem to have lost a sense of where we are in the painting, you can always check out this small window here at the right top corner. Red box is where we are looking at. do we notice about the robes of the people here in this part of the painting? You see a group of people garbed in red robes or red scarves, flanked by people who aren't dressed similarly. Perhaps noticing these towering trees, some of them bent over, like they're bearing witness to this journey that this group of people are making. You can see them arriving at this wooden bridge after having crossed this mountain. Zoom out for a moment. Take the entire scene. Now we'll continue to move our attention further to the left of the bridge. And now, as we zoom in, you might notice a second group of people who seem to be taking a break. Horses, camel. The entire group seems to be taking rest here. The relaxing pause. Even the animals seem to be in a space of relaxation. Who could these people be? They belong to the same section of society as the people in the previous group on the right side of the scroll. What do we notice that tells us that they might have a different functional role in the society? Now we'll zoom out. And try to knit the two scenes, two groups of people. As we take a look at the right half of the scroll. And then we'll continue further to the left of the scroll with this next image, starting yet again with the right side. So we'll start by zooming in to the extreme right side. see the continuity and the second group of people resting here in the plains. And then there's another group of people who've chosen to continue on this journey. Maybe at this point, our attention goes to this tree with dottings of flowers, suggesting that it could be springtime when this journey is being taken. What do we notice in their expressions? Why are some people on horses and some walking with them, carrying these heavy loads? Now maybe we're drawn to the expression of this person, turning and looking back, perhaps with concern. Zoom out. Check where we are in this journey to Shu. And continue to look towards the left, where we find a fourth group of people who are now ascending once again into the narrow ledges along this mountain. Maybe we're noticing that at this bridge, high up in this mountain, there seems to be one person faced. We are looking at the painting in that same direction. And then two horsemen looking in the opposite direction, moving in the opposite direction. Where does this path go? How does it lead to Shu? Maybe we'll find answers if we were to zoom out. Or maybe that is left this way by the artist. So we, the viewers, could wonder about this journey and where it leads to and how it connects to Shu. Now maybe zoom out completely. so we could appreciate this part of the journey. Maybe visualizing this entire scene in the left half of the scroll in our minds. We'll revisit the right half of the scroll one more time. So we could stitch these images together in our imagination. Visualizing the four groups of people, one arriving from the right side, one resting, another group commencing the journey, the fourth group higher up in the mountains. And we may continue to look further to the left, continuing to observe this beautiful calligraphy. Maybe it's a description, maybe it's a poem. Now we'll take a full look at the entirety of the scroll. We were able to now appreciate how the painter has taken the effort to paint the mountains with such a spacing that as we unroll the scroll part by part, each part will have a group of people with the towering peaks in the background. Maybe close our eyes for just a moment and think about which group we naturally resonate with if we compared our lives as a journey to Shu. And then perhaps, no matter where we are in our journeys, we could draw inspiration from this second group of people who've chosen to pause their journeys. Maybe take a few deep breaths. Witnessing the body, the sensations, the thoughts, the feelings and the emotions. What is the purpose of this journey? We may ask ourselves, what is the intention? Especially if we feel lost in this travel. We could remind ourselves of why we started this journey. And as we navigate these intense times of transition, perhaps allow the words of Brené Brown to inspire us. When we deny the story, it defines us. But when we own the story, we can write a brave new ending. What will that brave new ending be? Let us set those intentions. And when the mind is clear and we're ready to proceed, slowly begin to deepen the breath. Maybe place our palms over the heart space. Or we may choose to join the palms in prayer. Close our meditation by offering the self, first namaste, offering the artist who created the scroll that served as our inspiration today. Maybe offer them second namaste. And namaste to all the forces of the universe that brought us together. And finally, maybe close by sharing a namaste with each other. Like we're saying, light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody, for choosing to share your presence, practice, time, and energy with us today. I hope you found this journey to Shu inspiring, providing you some inner calm and strength from that place of calm. If you have any questions for me about yoga, about meditation, please feel free to post that to the chat. But if you also have questions about the artwork, please do share those with us. Share your thoughts, share what you wondered about as you gazed at the art. And now we'll move over to Grace so we can enjoy this wonderful spotlight talk.
Thank you so much, Aparna. Thank you for that, leading us on that beautiful visual journey. I saw so many new things in the painting this time. I want to welcome now Stephen Ali, who's one of our Chinese art curators at the museum. He is an expert in the Chinese paintings in our collection. So we're delighted to have him here to tell us a little more about the work that you just saw. Stephen, over to you.
The painting is called Journey to Shu, which is actually the name of a poem that is attached to the painting, as you saw at left. Now, Shu is located in western China. It's the province known today as Sichuan, where all the spicy food comes from. It is a fertile basin surrounded on all sides by tall mountains. Travelers to the province describe hanging bridges, stairways hewn from naked rock, and cantilevered walkways made of wooden planks and trestles, which led across the mountains in steep defiles. In this late 16th or early 17th century version of an earlier painting, we see four groups of travelers moving through the rugged terrain, as we've already gone through, beginning with the high pass at upper right, passing down through a valley, crossing two bridges, and then ascending again at upper left. As mentioned, in the main group at right, there's a tall robed man with a high rank, with a tall hat that indicates his high rank. Go back a little further and up. Go up just a little. Yeah, there he is. There's our guy. Yeah. And he's accompanied by an entourage of front riders and women wearing red hoods and shawls who wend their way through the foothills and approach a low bridge. The camels here are distinctive for places such as Shu and other places in northern China because they had connections to Central Asia, where camels are a common pack animal. Across the bridge, as noted, the several riders have unloaded their mounts. They're taking a rest. You can see another camel there. And the other animals are mules. You can see one rolling on the back. They've taken his saddle off, so he's got an itch that he needs to scratch. Passing another low bridge onto the other half of the painting, we see a family group with women and children making its way around a small, uh, around a large rock. You can see an elderly woman on the horse, and down below you can see women and a child being carried. Further on, indeed, the last group climbs up and ascends one of the famous hanging roadways of Shu, which hugs the sheer cliff ahead. Coiling white clouds wreathe the mountaintops. In the background, a large body of water with patterned waves recedes into the distance. Judging from the flowers in bloom, indeed, the season in the painting is spring. Now, traditionally, the painting was believed to represent the flight of Tang Emperor Xuanzong, who fled across the high mountain passes to the safety of Shu in the summer of 756 during a large rebellion. The emperor's flight led to the death of his beloved concubine and then to his own abdication after 42 years on the throne. This profound tragedy shattered the Tang Empire, and although it lasted another 150 years, the dynasty never recovered from this event. Now, one should note that the sorrow of these historical events and the tragedy is not reflected in this painting of springtime scenery and the overall cheeriness that we see here. These people are not fleeing from anything, particularly not a disaster. There are no troops behind them trying to capture them, but rather they're a typically diverse group of travelers from different walks of life, officials, merchants, families moving along the roads, some on business, some from necessity, and others out on a fine excursion in the springtime countryside. The perils of the road to Shu were recounted in a longish poem by a contemporary of the Tang Emperor Xuanzong, the renowned poet Li Bai, who lived from 701 to 762. He grew up in Shu and served for a time at the imperial court. His famous poem, titled Hard is the Road to Shu, or Shu Dao Nan, is sometimes interpreted as an attempt to dissuade the emperor from fleeing into Sichuan. But just as the painting, his poem actually had nothing to do with that historical event. Still, this association led a later owner of the painting to attach this separate poem, Li Bai's poem, written in masterful calligraphy in 1550 by a leading Ming Dynasty artist by the name of Wen Zhengming. In antiquity, the barricade of tall mountains that encircled Shu was penetrated by roads in only one or two locations. The most famous road, equally renowned for its wild beauty and many hazards, stretched from the base of Mount Taibai in the north through Sword Gate Pass, where it descended to the Sichuan Basin and proceeded to the Shu capital of Chengdu, also known as Brocade City. We will encounter all of these places in the text of Li Bai's poem. And I will read my translation now. It's a very heroic poem, somewhat a little different than the meditative mood that we have established here, but maybe it's a good transition into some of the daily rigors of life. Anyway, the poem starts with the heavy breathing of a man ascending into the mountains. Oh, whew, my, how steep it is and high. Hard is the road to Shu, harder than ascending the clear blue sky. When Tan Cong and Yu Fu founded the realm, how long ago it was. And for 48,000 years afterward, human smoke did not reach the passes of Qin. West at Mount Taibai was a road for birds that led clear across to Amei's summit, but the earth collapsed, and mountains crumbled, and strong men died. And only since then have sky ladders and trestle roads been linked together. Above, at the lofty pinnacles where 6 dragons wheel the sun around, below by the whirling stream where churning waves collide and swirl, even yellow cranes on the wing cannot make it over, and gibbons that wish to cross sadly clamber along. Green mud trail, how it twists and turns, with 9 loops each 100 paces winding up the sheer escarpment, brushing 3 stars, passing the well. I look aloft, gasping in fright, and clutching a hand to my breast, I sit down there, panting hard. I ask you, sir, on your westward road, when shall you return? The crags that jut above this fearful track cannot be scaled. I only see a morning bird calling from an ancient tree, a male that flies behind his mate among the forest groves, and I only hear the cuckoo crying at the nighttime moon, grieving in the vacant hills. Hard is the road to Shu, harder than ascending the clear blue sky, which makes the ruddy faces pale of all who listen. Endless peaks stand not a foot from heaven. Withered pines dangle and sag, drooping from vertical walls. Gushing torrents and plunging streams wrangle in savage tumult, smashing cliffs, rolling stones, thundering down a myriad ravines. Beset with perils such as these, alas for the man on this far road. Why did he come here? At Swordgate Pass, among majestic jagged heights, if a single soldier guards the gate, 10,000 others cannot breach it, and if those who hold it are hostile, they become like leopards and wolves. At dawn, one flees from angry tigers. At dusk, one flees from giant snakes that slobber blood through whetted fangs and slaughter men like cutting hemp. While it may be said that Brocade City is fun, wouldn't it be better to be safely home? Hard is the road to Shu, harder than ascending the clear blue sky. I tilt my body, gazing west, and heave a long-drawn sigh. I'm happy to answer any questions that people have about either the painting, the calligraphy, or the poem. Please feel free.
I'm glad you read the whole thing. That was very powerful. We had a couple interesting questions come in. One is the blue mountains and the color in general, that although there's so much narrative content here, the color of the painting also seems to be very important with the blue and the green. And were these blue mountains meant to be realistic, or was this kind of an imaginary color laid onto this painting? Can you say any more about that?
Well, indeed, the tradition of painting blue and green developed at the Tang Dynasty court. So it's also appropriate to the overall time period that the subject of the painting addresses. The blue is made from azurite and the green from malachite. So these are mineral-based pigments as opposed to vegetable-based pigments. Naturally, they are a little more expensive, and therefore the style evolved at the imperial court in the Tang. It fell out of favor several times, but then it was revived. And in this period of the Ming, in the early 16th century, the artist to whom this painting is attributed, a man by the name of Qiu Ying, revived the tradition of blue and green painting. And although we don't believe that he himself painted this particular version of the work, we do believe that he invented the composition or refined the composition. And there is, a lot to it in that way. We have quite a group of paintings in the Freer collection of blue and green works. And our website, you can also search for blue and green on the website and find many more examples in this style.
Barbara says the details in the clouds are amazing too. And I have to say that the clouds are one of my favorite parts of this painting, that the way they kind of twist and spiral. Is there anything you want to tell us about that style of cloud?
Well, the clouds also, this particular style also developed in the Tang. We see it often in religious painting, Buddhist painting in particular, where you have deities ascending or descending on clouds or in the clouds. And they have these very sort of almost sculptural qualities. That style too fell out of favor after the Tang, but it was revived along with the blue and green. So it's an integral part of this style.
We had another question just about hand scrolls in general and the format of the hand scroll in Chinese art. Someone asked, is this a really common format for a painting that you often see, or can you tell us anything more about that?
Yes, the hand scroll is one of the three major formats of Chinese painting. You have hanging scrolls, hand scrolls, and albums. The hand scroll and the album were both designed to be handled by the viewer. They were meant to be unrolled, in the case of a hand scroll, slowly, at about the length of, if you spread your arms out to either side, at about that length in either case. The current painting being only one spread. So if you spread your arms out, that would be about the width of the painting that you see. So around 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet. Many paintings, our largest paintings in the collection, hand scrolls, are 54 feet long and 40 feet and 32 feet. So they can be quite long. They're often narrative. And what it allows the artist to do is to develop a narrative horizontally. So you unroll it bit by bit. And as you do, the scenery emerges, and whatever narrative story that you may be telling also can proceed. So it's a way to develop a visual narrative, and it works extremely well. There is no, just like a baseball game, there's no defined end unless you get 3 outs in the ninth inning. The hand scroll can theoretically go on forever. There are practical concerns about size. This is a very tall one at around 2 feet. We purchased this painting in 1993 at auction in Christie's. We, as I say, Freer himself collected many works in this style. Our primary interest in this painting at the time was the calligraphy, to be honest, which is an outstanding example of Wen Zhengming's late work. He lived till 1559, and this particular piece he executed in 1550. We really wanted that calligraphy, but we were very happy to get the painting along with it, so to speak.
Thank you so much for those comments, Stephen. We were receiving a lot of messages in the chat that people were connecting to the theme of journey, that this work could tell us a lot about the journey of ups and downs that we go through in life, and also thinking about the journey rather than just the destination. So.
That's correct. This is about the journey and the hardships of it. Hard is the road to Shu. The poem title tells you it's going to be a difficult road, and sometimes you want to turn away, but if you persist, you will reach your destination.
Thank you so much for sharing those thoughts and your expertise with us. And we will see everyone back here again next Friday for another art-based meditation. Thank you all.